You clicked on this video, so I assume you're trying to figure out what is the most affordable city in Utah. We're going to go from 8 all the way until 1. If you want to know number 1, it's Ogden, Utah. There's your answer. But we're going to start at 8, which is St. George. We're going to go through all of them. I'm going to give you my general opinion of all of the towns, the things that I know about them. There's going to be some I know more about, some that I know less about. But I've been here long enough that at least I can give you a good general opinion of what the local thought process is on those towns and some of the things in general about them. So, other than that, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in northern Utah, let me know. If you need a referral for somewhere else, let me know. If you want to know Utah's real estate stats, sign up for my newsletter. And the contact information will be down below in the description. And I'm with Cornerstone Real Estate. I'm just throwing that in here just to make sure that it's in here, I guess. But other than that, let's just get right on into it with number 8. Just to source all this information, this is coming from Redfin, a blog. It's just basically a news article in general. There's all your answers. You can see all of it ahead of time, but if you want to hear kind of some more information about it, St. George, Utah is number 8, the eighth most affordable town in Utah. Median home price of $509,000, median household income of $59,000. Nearest metro is Las Vegas. A lot of people tend to forget how big of a state Utah really is. And like 90% of our population is in this area right here, and St. George is all the way down here. I think it's like a 6-hour drive from Ogden, Utah, where I live, down to St. George. If you kind of want to get a gander, I think it's an hour drive from St. George to Las Vegas, hour and a half, something like that. It's a pretty quick drive, really. And it's much closer to Las Vegas than any large city in Utah for sure. St. George is going to be pretty warm year round. You're going to have a lot of, what are they, snowbirds down there that go and they retire, and it's a great place to go golfing, and you don't have a lot of snow down there. So that's the basics of St. George, is that it's surrounded by desert. If you did want to move to St. George, the problems with St. George are getting a job down there. I think there is a lot of construction work down there, welding, stuff like that. But if you're trying to find a tech job or something like that, St. George isn't going to be your area unless it's remote. And it's your largest city down south. Once you get past like Layton and Provo and all that, this is the big city in Utah, St. George. It does get you a little bit closer to exploring the desert, exploring southern Utah, but those are the basics of St. George. So that's number 8, St. George. Next, we've got West Jordan, which, interesting enough, is probably one of the largest growing, quickest growing places in Utah. Median home price $506,000, median household income $84,722, which makes 100% sense. And then it's just 15 miles south of Salt Lake City, Utah. So where West Jordan is, you've got Salt Lake right here, you've got Sandy, and then if you go west of Sandy, west of, I guess, more like Cottonwood Heights, Murray's over here as well, but it's on the west side of the interstate compared to those. That's your West Jordan area. One of the biggest things, West Jordan and South Jordan, there's this place called Daybreak, which is like an HOA community where they've got man made ponds and stuff like that. There's a lot of growth that's been happening over here. Interesting enough, Harriman and stuff used to be ranch communities. But the basic things that describe West Jordan is that it's absolutely full of people and there's a lot of people moving into it. And it's fairly close to Salt Lake City. Some good general ideas. If you're wanting a lot of dining, if you're wanting a lot of shopping, if you're wanting a lot of housing communities, you're going to find all of that in West Jordan. It's just going to be absolutely full of people. And you're going to be running into traffic pretty consistently all the time because there's people that are moving north, but there's even more people. This is anecdotal, maybe isn't statistically true. I don't have the statistics on me, that are moving south. So your traffic going south, I feel like, is going to be more dense as compared to traffic going north of Salt Lake City. So number 7, West Jordan. Not a bad place to live. We'd give it. We give it a 1 out of 10 on the Paden scale. Would not want to move to a city, but for somebody and for a functional area and niceness, it's a good solid 7, 8 out of 10. It's not a bad town. At number 6, we got Orem, $472,500, median household income of $65,622. Nearest metro area is Provo. Very interesting. Provo is going to be the town that's going to be further south. So you see Provo down here. This is going to be where your BYU territory is, your Cougar territory, as some people might call it. Provo is going to be your furthest south, but still and it's Orem that we're talking about. So sorry about that. But this is about as far south as you can get for civilization. You're going to have less people in this Orem Provo area than you would in West Jordan, more people absolutely than you would in St. George. You're going to have more ranch communities down in this area, although it is right next to Utah Lake. Utah County in general grew very quickly. On top of that, if you go a little bit north, this is where our tech sector is in this Lehigh area, like around here somewhere like that. Thanksgiving Point area. There's Adobe down there. There's a lot of work for the tech industry, and they're trying to turn it into a Silicon Valley, which I think would be in connection to living in Orem. You could go find a tech job fairly easily, would be my wild assumption. You're also closer in a canyon to go to Heber City, Park City, which are going to be your higher median sold house cost. I can't say that in a way to steer you, but I can say homes are more expensive in Heber City and Park City. So take that as you will. Provo is going to be very far south as compared to Salt Lake City, though. And it would be a bit of a drive. You would be, let's say you have a lot of traffic, you could for sure bump that up to an hour and a half getting down to Provo because you're going to be running into two traffic jams in this Lehigh area, you're going to run into a traffic jam. And then on top of that, in your Salt Lake City, actually, you're going to be running into a traffic jam as well. I know because when I was working construction, I hit 3 traffic jams on the way up, and the 2 worst ones were Lehigh and Salt Lake City. So be aware of that. Infrastructure, you're going to have all the shopping and everything that you want down there as well. You're going to have plenty of movie theaters and places for dining. I don't think your dining is going to be as diverse as it would be up here in West Jordan, but really not a bad place to live at all for sure, especially if you're looking to be in the tech industry. Finally, we're getting to places that I know pretty well. Layton, which is going to be the northernmost side of Davis County, with a median home price of $470,000, median household income of $43,056. Layton is going to be further north than Salt Lake City. You're going to be at the northern part of Utah in general. So here's Salt Lake City. You go up, up, up. Here's Layton. Farmington is going to be one of your best shopping areas in the state of Utah. Farmington is Central Station. I can't remember what it's off the top of my head. Your dining for all this area is going to be okay. Your bar scene for like Layton and Kaysville is not going to be as much. It's more of a community focused county, if I'm being frank with you, in a way that I can say that. And it's more focused on being able to have shopping and having okay places to eat, but having a lot more school systems and activities for families is a huge focus for that area for sure. Who would move to Layton or Kaysville? I don't know if we're rating it on a Paden scale. Once again, it's 1 out of 10. I'm from Boulder, Wyoming. There's 75 people there. I wouldn't move there, but I know plenty of people that do, and I know that they do it partially because, especially if you're working on Hill Air Force Base, Layton's going to be a great commute to get to Hill Air Force Base, and it's also going to have a higher median sold value. And then as well, you are close to the mountains. There's going to be hiking trails all along the Wasatch Front in general. Other than that, what makes Layton special, I really couldn't tell you. It's just got a lot of niceties, and it's a really community focused county in general, and a very community focused uh, county. So take that as you will. Okay, now we're getting to some more interesting ones. The number four most affordable town in Utah is West Valley City. Median home price of $442,000, median household income of $43,056. I still think that West Valley City is going to be one of the best investment areas in Utah right now. West Valley has a lot of options because it's right here. Now, you got to keep in mind, I don't know how to say this any differently, but there's more crime in West Valley City than as compared to Mill Creek. There's a reason that the median sold value in West Valley City, which a lot of people would include Rose Park up in this area. And so it's one of those things, you can probably find a very cheap home there, but make sure that you understand where you're buying that home. It's going to be street to street. A very legitimate story was we went to one street looking at houses, and every single house had an immaculate yard. It was a wonderful home. It was from 1950s, all of them, but they were updated, amazing roof, everything. I went one street over, and I saw a needle on the ground, just kind of rolling around with a bag of Lay's chips right next to it. And that street's yards didn't look as good. So every single street's going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be, you really can't define West Valley City in one sentence because every street's going to be different. There's a lot of zones in West Valley City. You're not going to have as much shopping there for sure. It's mostly going to be residential houses, and it's mostly going to be people in West Valley City can commute to Salt Lake City. It's the cheapest place in this area to buy a house. Like it's cheaper than It's not as cheap as Magna, but that's because that's Magna's further away. West Valley City, Rose Park's going to be your cheapest right next to Salt Lake City areas. And there's a reason behind that. And so you're going to be transferring, working in Salt Lake City. So if you want to live in West Valley City, you're looking for a really cheap home, as cheap as possible, and being as close to Salt Lake City as possible. But you're not going to have a lot of restaurants. You're not going to have a lot of shopping. It's not going to have a lot of that stuff. I would live in West Valley City more likely than West Jordan or Layton, because it's kind of my zone, and I like the idea of being able to buy a house at a cheaper discount. But most people aren't going to want to live. My wife would not live in West Valley City 100%. You're also pretty close to the airport. So there you go. West Valley City, I would give the highest score yet, which would be 3 Padens out of 5. It'd be the only place so far that I've seen that I would consider buying a house at, for no other reason than you could buy them very affordably. All right, number 3, the third most affordable city in Utah, Provo, Utah. Median home price $427,500. Median household income $50,000 to $72,000. Once again, Provo is the Cougars. There's so many Cougars in Provo. There's thousands of Cougars in Provo. No, I mean it's your college community. The BYU is ran by the LDS religion in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how to explain that. I'm not going to emphasize on that because I'm not going to comment on religion in general and try to direct you where to live according to religion. Take that as you will. But BYU is run by the Mormon religion. And so the surrounding area's focus is going to be on supporting that college. That's all I'm going to say about all that. There's 100% very good schools down there. There's a lot of money that is being pumped into Provo because of the college and because of the people that are living there. I'm not going to jump to that anymore because I don't want to get in trouble. Number 2, Logan, Utah. This is another good one. I went to school at Logan, USU. Doesn't matter. I'll talk about that in a second. Median home price $379,000. Median household income $43,056. Nearest metro area is Ogden, which is where I currently live. So here's Salt Lake City. Logan, Utah is the largest city that's the closest to Idaho is the best way to look at it. You're going to be able to find better priced homes in Tremonton. Tremonton's is a good chunk cheaper than Logan. You'd be able to go over to Tremont and buy a house and work in Logan pretty comfortably, especially if you're not having to go through Sardine Canyon. Your largest problem with living in Logan is that if you wanted to work, let's say in Ogden, you have to go through Sardine Canyon every day. And Sardine Canyon, one day, at least 3 or 4 days a year, is going to be completely closed off. And so your trek's going to be a little bit longer. I like Logan as an area. I think that your home prices there are much cheaper than a lot of the rest of the state, but still pretty high. It's got USU there, which is a huge college campus. It's D1 college, is where I went to college. If you want to buy cheaper in the Logan area, you can go to Preston, Idaho, which the second you cross this border, your home prices are going to go down like 10% or so. So I like Logan. The food there, you're not going to have any fine dining experiences there. You've got Tandoori Oven, which is an Indian restaurant attached to a gas station. You've got some Greek food there, but you're not going to have any restaurants. You got Lenone, which does have pretty good Italian food, but you're not going to have anything that's blown your socks off. If you're wanting 8.5 out of 10 shopping, Logan's going to have it. It's got all of your it's got Costco. It's got everything you're going to functionally need. It's got a Ross there, I think. There's TJ Maxx, and then you've got all your big fast food chains as well. Chick-fil-A, all those chicken places for sure. So Logan, great area. The people that are going to move here are going to be more focused on their outdoors and being able to make it up to Idaho for hunting or whatever, and are going to want cheaper prices as well. Logan, Utah is the second place on this list that I would move to because I could live in Logan, Utah because I like it. And I'm a redneck from Wyoming, so take that as you will. So I like Logan, Utah. Great prices if you're going to USU or you're looking to be outdoors and be far away from the city. Logan is a great choice for you. And here we go. Number 1, Ogden, Utah. Median home price $367,625. Median household income $55,974. Logan is my biggest focus. It's where I live. It's where my brokerage is at. So I know Ogden fairly well. If you're living in Ogden, Ogden has the worst stigma in Utah for being a place of crime. Let's say that. Why is that? Because on 25th Street, there was a moment in time, because the railways didn't blow up the way. They had a lot of transient people moving here. There was a lot of crime that was happening. Al Capone came here and did some stuff. I don't know. Everybody's going to tell you to stay away from Ogden, and I think that they're dumb. I think they're dummies. I think they're big old dumbheads because there's a lot of really nice places in Ogden. North Ogden's median sold value doesn't have as much crime as other places. It's also just a really nice place, North Ogden in general. Plain City, west of the interstate, you've got all these ranch communities right here. You're literally going to be driving through those ranch communities and be like, oh my goodness, there's a random restaurant here that's just a local restaurant that people have been going to for the last 50 years or something like that. That's what happens in Ogden, Utah. So I like Ogden in general. I think you're going to be able to find the best deals on homes, as maybe not quite as good of deals as West Valley City, but I think Ogden still has a pretty bad stigma. But there's a lot of options here and a lot of different price ranges of homes. You really could buy a 300, 310,000 two bed, one bath, maybe even three bed, two bath for less than 350 in this area of Ogden right here, which once again, there's some areas that are gonna you need to do your research on the areas and the crime rate of those areas. Take that as you will, absolutely. But there's a lot of areas that are gonna have lower crime rate than parts of the other state and that are gonna really be standard places in general. Why would you move to Ogden? There's a lot of industry here in Ogden. There's a lot of businesses. I don't know if Boeing's, I don't know what specific ones are here, if it's Boeing or I think Thermo Fisher. There's a seatbelt maker here and stuff. There's a lot of industry in Ogden in general, and then it's fairly close to Hill Air Force Base as well. Although, if you're wanting to buy cheaper homes, you'd want to buy in the Roy area or the Clearfield area because Roy is going to be your cheapest homes in the northern part of Utah before Willard, probably for sure. But in general, I really like Ogden. I really like 25th Street. It's got the best bars in all of Utah. That's 100% fact. I like the fact that you're only about 15, 30 minutes away from Eden and Huntsville, and you really can get out there. Once you start getting into this road right here, if you're a redneck like me, it's nice to be out there. There's not a lot of people out there. So, there you go. Those were the 8 most affordable homes in Utah, according to this Redfin article. I think that they're all pretty good places. Ogden, Utah, Logan, Utah, and West Valley, Utah are the only 3 that would receive a Paden stamp of approval. The rest are just as nice. They're probably nicer than those towns, but they're just not places that Paden would move to. If you have any questions on them, comment it down below. I'm looking for comments. I would love to get 2 or 3 comments in general, and I will try to respond to them. Unless you're a random person commenting and then trying to get me to edit one of your videos, because we're getting a lot of those lately. Other than that, let me know if you're looking to buy or sell a house, sign up for the newsletter, and have a great day.